There you go. Thank you.
Okay.
Good now.
Yeah. Right. All right, we're going over the approval amendment of the agenda. 9.1, review the board of selection motion to close town hall election day and all primaries. I'm going to put that off. We've had discussions regarding the voting, early voting for the general election. The Secretary of State's looking at different things. So we're going to, if I can go ahead and put that off until we get more information on what we have to do or what we have to do with all the early voting days. Because there's questions about, does it make sense or whatever? So anyway. And also I'd like to just add in at 9.1, the Veterans Memorial Advisory Committee update. We have to change their charge. It's kind of pretty thin right now, and they need to do some more stuff. So I have a couple. Or just one suggested change to the charge. So we'll just substitute that. And the rest we can talk about. Anything else? That's all I had. Yes, you have one.
I have two. I wondered if we could at least start the discussion of the health insurance plan review, meet with our broker, and maybe talk about when the union contract is up or open to renegotiation.
Yep, that'll be coming up this year. Okay.
So can we add, I don't know if that's, I guess that's new business.
Yeah, thank you.
And can we just, to put it on so people out there know that we're gonna have a meeting after the budget hearing?
Sure. Yeah. We can set that meeting today if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what that is. Is that new business?
Yeah, it was at 495. Okay. Review and okay. Okay, 495. We're good. Okay. All right. Approval of the minutes.
I think we have to make a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Sorry. Yeah, just go ahead. Let's do it. All right. All in favor for the amended motion to amend, yes, our agenda for the evening to move 9.1 from the board of selection close town hall election day into Veterans Memorial Advisory Committee, and add 9.4, 9.5. 9.4 is health or health insurance report, excuse me, and then the union contract update, and then 9.5 is to set the meeting after the hearing for the town meeting, set the meeting date and agenda for after the meeting. Well, we'll set the agenda, but we'll set the meeting date after the hearing.
Well, we need to set the agenda at that meeting.
Correct.
Yeah,
right. That's what we
that's my whole point of bringing it up.
Correct. No.
Okay, so I'll make a second to that motion.
Yeah. Okay. Any discussion?
Aye.
Okay, you understood what I said. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All in favor. Yeah, and I just want to make sure we're going to set the agenda tonight. We're going to set the meeting. Okay. Let's go to number 4, approval of the minutes. March 19th, 2024, March 21st, March 25th, and March 27th, 2024, regular, and 3 special meetings, and then special board of selection meeting on April 11th. Any questions or changes to any of those?
I didn't see anything.
Yep.
No, I saw it.
Okay. I'll take a motion to approve all the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Minutes. Thank you. I received no specific correspondence. If anyone else had anything specific, I didn't see anything. All right. Any public comment? Any of those people that you can see in the room on the agenda items that we have on the agenda tonight? Anyone? Okay. Hearing none. Move on to number 7, which is tax refunds. For those that don't know, we're the front television that we usually look at. You can see things. It's got an invalid format in there, so we have to figure out what's going on with that TV itself. Anyway, all right. Tax refunds for this month, we have 7. I will read them, the names and the amount. Robert Mason for $22.55. Howard Ashley for $1,724.98. Ally Financial for $180.17. CCAP Auto Lease Limited for $206.37. James Kell for $33.21. Cynthia Kopse for $62.62. And Peter and Janice Gadiel for $23.26, for a total of $2,253.16 tax refunds.
I'll make a motion to approve those.
All right, thank you. Need a motion to approve the seven totaling $2,253.16. Second, thank you. Any discussion on the tax refund? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right. Move to Treasurer's Report. Unfortunately, Barbara could not join us tonight. She had issues at home. The report is fairly detailed, which is nice. So some additional things. I think some of the things in the note I think the notes I think were important. The $100,000 investment interest remains exceptional, on track to exceed budget amount by $100,000, which is good. Fees collected for use of the community house exceeding budget amounts is a very popular venue, as we all know, and it's gone up quite a bit, which is good. $10,175 for the telecom property and state pilot receipts have exceeded budget amounts, so which is good for the. And then 15 pistol permits have been issued out. My report, I just had did 3 for this month, but anyway. We continue to look at the paramedic and EMS staffing as being in the red, but we are aware of that. Did the audit, which was good at the last Board of Finance meeting that was presented. That was a good report, I think. Provided a template of questions on Selectmen's capital project status report. I do want to just add one thing on that we had on there, which was the boiler. It's up and being right now. Test running. It's working great. It's heating hot water. Next comes the generator, which we have to put the pad in. There's an inland wetlands piece because we're so close to the actual wetlands that we have to go through that process. Rick will be working on that with the inland wetlands, but that should be done within a month or so, I think, to put the generator up. So, kicking along in that. So, credit policy. I think I did mention the finance report that we did receive the emergency program management grant, performance management grant, excuse me, the $5,000 that we put in for it was quick, which is really good. But the 28-page compliance paperwork to follow, but that's going to be really good. And our emergency, I'll talk about that later. And then there was the building inspector. I didn't have any issues with the building inspector. Any questions or any comments on that? If there are anything else, we can get back to Barbara. Any specific questions, but I didn't have anything else for a while.
I will just make note of this note that she has on here because she did speak to me about this, a request for reports from the treasurer's office be submitted in writing.
Yep.
With the precise parameters and provide a need by date, and I totally understand that.
Okay.
So.
Yeah,
very reasonable.
Yeah. Okay, good. That's good. Good point. Yeah. Working with her on a couple of things to try to give her a little bit more room to do some of the other things instead of just. We're working on that with some ideas, so hopefully we can have good information and report on that. So, okay. All right, moving to the 9-1, new business. The Veterans Memorial Advisory Committee, if you remember way back when, on August 4th, 2022, the Veterans Committee was stood up under the Board of Selectmen, and their motion specifically had their charge be to take over, to investigate and make recommendations to the Board of Selectmen on the addition of names of veterans to add to the monument in the future and to advise the Board of Selectmen on matters related to the Veterans Memorial membership as appointed by the Board of Selectmen and shall be advised when board member board selection. We kind of agreed that I'd be out. We never actually had a vote.
Oh, we didn't?
No.
Oh.
No. So we're going to vote on that to put me on there. But yeah, it was a cordial discussion of that, but we'll have to do. But one of the things we looked at, and one of the things talking to Andy Yosef and others, that there's more to just putting a name on a monument or more than just checking out whether they're, legally or, they're within our parameters of being from the town when they went into the military. That's the whole point of the things, recognizing that. So there's other stuff they do. So one of the things that we're going to add or ask to add, and I'll have a motion here, is to put an advisory role to the Board of Selectmen. So they're advisory to us, regarding the monument ceremonies performed as the monument, because there's other things like the parade coming up and so on that nobody really has oversight of how it's done and so on. That's part of the parade thing, and I'll talk a little bit about that in my report. And also site maintenance, including the monuments. And part of what we need to do is make sure that things are up to date. When they were privately run, they had to replace a whole bunch of granite and so on. And right now they're not charged to give that report to us, the recommendations, which I thought we should do that. So I'll first off accept an appointment or a motion to appoint me to as a Board of Selectmen representative to the Veterans Memorial Advisory Committee. Okay. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Okay. And then adopt this new charge, which reads, to include advisory role to the Board of Selectmen regarding names for the monument, ceremonies performed at the monument, and site maintenance, including the monuments themselves. Second. Okay. Any questions? Anything? Okay. All right. All in favor? Okay. Great. Yeah, that updates that because it would all left us. So anyway. Okay.
Just a clarity. So would the town crew do like the mowing and stuff around?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
But if there's something like if the stones had to be replaced like they did before,
right?
Would they come back to the selectmen?
We have $3,800 in there.
Oh, so they could
they
spend.
they have one there, and that's mostly if you looked at the monuments now, since they did pull them up and clean out a lot of that water, North South Carolina granite, which is very permeable. So really, it's just putting the names on, updating, correcting and cleaning and things like that. Updating anything they have. They do have a security system there as well.
And they can spend that $3,800.
We can spend it, but they can recommend things to, we have to make that.
So we would be the ones.
Correct, that's the advisory role that they did.
Gotcha.
They watch it closely. They Mike Rockberg does pretty much, so
Okay.
he's the one that really, and Andy as well, and Bill and Patty Case are the other two that are on that committee with me. So, yeah, so that and the whole advisory about, the parade route and all that kind of stuff and different stuff at the ceremony. There's some questions I had and some suggestions that I think they need to weigh in on. They really didn't have a way to do that. So, Darlene and Joyce and I talked about that last day or so, and so that's better we clean that up and actually want that too. Okay, the next thing is the transportation fee structure. Right. We've got all that there. We talked to Tiffany Carlson the other day, some of the things we need to update. They're they're doing the HRA recycling poster ceremony tonight, so they couldn't join us. They really wanted to join us to have that.
We are here tonight, Marty. Marty, we just joined.
You just joined. Okay.
Full.
There. Okay. Here they are. There's Tiffany. How you doing?
This is very bizarre.
We can push the other side. That's hold on. Okay. Musical chair. I don't know. Let's see the back of our head. I'm sorry. But at least we can see them.
It's all about us.
Okay, so part of what we were talking about, what we're talking about is part of this restructure, and how do we go ahead and move forward with that, or what do we do to move forward with next year's fee structure and so on. And I'll be honest, one of the things that we talked about, and Tiffany and Jen, I did send you an email, but you probably haven't had a chance to look at it. We were talking with Rick. Part of what we think, at least right now, is that these are great proposals, but there's something that we're still looking to see, and with the state and so on. And we thought that maybe the other proposal that we put in there is a continuation of our fee structure that we had before with 150 and then 130. And then over this next year, because as you so stated, we need to build an actual plan of implementation for all this. And I'm not sure we're going to have it all done, including purchase of any bags or anything else we might want to do if we do that. So we have this year in this budget, we can manage that, and then over this next summer or whatever, actually put together a plan that'll be sustained for a different rate structure, if it's unit-based pricing or whatever. So part of what we were thinking is like, and we were willing to go to a different meeting if you guys could be available, but here you are. I know Rick, I think he's on there. Is he?
Yep.
Okay. So I don't know if Rick, you want to add anything to that? But we, all the proposals, all the things out there, and we again thank you for all that work you did putting this together.
I don't understand why we can't, I don't understand what you're saying, Marty. I don't understand why we can't move forward with one of these options.
Okay. Rick, do you want to add a little bit about the pricing for the bags and the training and all that? So.
All right. I mean, first of all, we have to discuss and decide which option we're going to choose. We decide to choose an option where we supply the bags or designate where they can be bought. We don't have any of that arranged yet. I don't know how long it's going to take to order and buy bags where we can actually get that many. I think the estimate was for $50,000 for bags, but I don't really know how many we actually passed out this past year. If we had 640 tags, then we passed out 64,000 bags, right? So we'd have to find somewhere that could imprint or make some kind of mark on the bags that we know they're ours. Whether all that could get done by July 1st, I don't know.
Tiffany or Jen, you want to add anything to that, or to your proposal, or to the idea of extending what we've been doing, or going with a unit price that you guys had put together?
Yeah, so, I do first to address the time frame. I do think we have enough time no matter which option you choose. There is time. Many of these bags are actually pre-manufactured. I also want to just say, you don't have to make this decision tonight. I think it's great it's on the agenda and you're having the conversation, but if you don't get to that place of deciding, don't feel that there's pressure. We can continue to work with Connecticut DEP, but I think that's really important not to feel that pressure. But I don't have any concern about the time frame.
I don't either. What they're looking for in the plan is what your next steps are. That if your intention is to put some sort of unit-based pricing plan into place, this is what we think we're going to do, and we need to order bags and we need to buy more supplies. We can request bridge financing and also an extension of when the plan goes into place. So we don't necessarily have to start it July 1, if that helps again with relieving some of that pressure to get something executed.
And we did also find out after our last meeting that some other SMM communities that are going through the same process, when they applied for their bridge funding, they actually received funding to help them pay for an attendant for the whole additional year. So there's other money. If you have any concerns about, well, how can we implement this to be permanent? What are your concerns financially? We should address that with the grant while we're still working out how can we make this work for the town to be financially sustainable? Because ultimately that absolutely has to be the number one goal or objective. It's about waste reduction, but it's also about being financially sustainable. And Connecticut DEP really wants us to work with them so that we continue onto this path of permanency.
Okay. Okay. The question isn't necessarily that we have openings in our staff and transfer station right now. It's just trying to find people to fill them. That's part of that. I'll be going to a hiring phase right now. We're just reviewing applicants and so on. So that's a good point in the bridge funding the grant. I wasn't quite aware of that, or at least I know you sent me some notes on it, Tiffany. I don't think I read all of them yet, obviously. Okay.
I had some questions and hopefully Rick's still on the call. I'm wondering how many more permit holders will be convinced to join the food scraps program if we change to, charge by bag for the MSW? Will that be an incentive, enough of incentive to encourage more people to do it? And do you guys have any kind of experience of like a guesstimation of percentage wise, how that might change?
When we have looked at other communities that have implemented unit-based pricing, organic diversion has been part of a key component of that incentive, because they're trying to get as much waste out of that bag to reduce the number of bags that they are generating so that they don't have to pay for more. And being that in your case, the organics is free versus having to pay for the bag. In other communities, they pay less per weight for organics versus how much they pay for garbage. So there's always that's a very important incentive when it comes to implementing unit-based pricing. Also, I think what's important is to remember this past year, it was never mandated. This is a voluntary system. We put it in place, one, because of the time frame that the Connecticut DEP had delayed in giving us and awarding us the paperwork for the grant. And we didn't have a significant amount of time to make this a mandated program. It was just a voluntary, hey, would you be willing to do it? I think for the fact that it was voluntary and we reduced the municipal solid waste by 12%, that says a lot. Imagine what would happen for the town if you went to a program. This is how the program works at the transfer station. This is what is required. Whichever option you choose, that's the option that we've gone with. And you're going to see, just by default, you're going to see a waste reduction, and which also equals a cost reduction on the disposal side of municipal solid waste. It goes hand in hand. It just comes down to how do we get there and which option do you feel works for your community? Using orange bags that they pay for upfront. It's included in their annual fee. Is it they can use any kind of bag, but they have a punch card? All the various scenarios, the 3 scenarios that I provided. There are other scenarios we could certainly provide for you, but those were the 3 simplest forms. So I hope that helps explain as well how to move forward in regards to the process.
Thank you.
And please add.
Sure. And Lynn, did you find it useful to have that spreadsheet to play around with, to work with?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you see how interrelated they are as far as the pricing, again, on the bags would be another variable that you could change. Certainly the permit fee is something that you can work with. It's another lever that can be, that can fluctuate. So by all means, those are just examples. And then within that flexibility of the spreadsheet, you can see how when you change one or the other, how it affects the cost to the town or the savings to the town.
So my question to Rick is, how hard will it be for the transfer station staff to monitor the number of bags being disposed of and the color of them? Is that something that you think could be done or too hard?
It can be done, but with only 2 of us there, we can't. One guy's going to have to stay by the garbage container all the time just to watch what bags are coming in. Because we can't. If you go over to one guy's at the recycle, and one guy goes over to bulky waste or takes a refrigerator or paint in, then somebody's still got to be watching the number of what the bags, or if we go by color or whatever.
And I think that's where we would go take advantage of, what some of the other pilots have, is to have that third person, that enforcement officer dedicated to that position. If you went with a mandated bag, it has to be in this, whatever color you want to use. It doesn't have to be orange. then the visual, you won't have to be punching cards, you won't have to be tearing tags. You know, you just would need to stop someone who shows up with a black contractor bag or a white garbage bag and say, hey, we need to have you put, you know, have this in an orange bag. You can either decide that you want to be able to provide those on site right there at the time, but it won't take users of the transfer station very long to realize they aren't going to be able to deposit other type of bags.
And then it also becomes self sort of enforcement where you know, everyone else is bringing what, let's say it's a blue bag, it's not orange. Everyone has a blue bag, they're all bringing it out, and somebody has a white bag, someone's going to call them out. It's just human nature, unfortunately. Hey, what are you doing with a white bag? So that does happen, and we've been informed of that in other programs, how eventually the attendants don't have to do as much work because the residents just do it. And people don't want to they don't want to stand out. So they're going to bring what they're supposed to bring.
You know, the education process. And also, we said once we do have in our budget to do the organic food you know, collection as well, or food collection, food waste collection. So again, encouraging everyone to do that, and then again, the education process, you know, is part of it. That certainly is a benefit to that. I think it's just that, you know, there was just some questions about whether we can staff it and get the appropriate material, but if it doesn't sound like it's that much of an issue, then the other thing would be for us to look at and decide what kind of sticker price are we going to put on the stickers themselves, because there's bulky waste, there's other things that people bring, and that they should have a sticker to be able to get out of the transfer station anyway, even if they don't drop off garbage bags, because there are some that pull in and just drop off that other stuff. So that has to be managed as well. So, but again, it's a big part of it is manning. But I know you're working on that, Rick. I know that there's been people a bit applying, you know, here and there, but now just the organic, the food recycling, or the food collection piece, and that hasn't been that difficult, especially because that's a special bag anyway, right? That goes into that light green bag right now.
Right, and you don't have to use the light green bag. You can just bring the food scraps.
Okay, right. Yeah, exactly. Once you go to a universal where everybody is encouraged to do that, then yeah, you take that a little bit extra out of it, where they don't have to have the canister on their shelf. They could, collect it any which way they want. I know that was a couple of people had mentioned, I don't want that little black canister. I want it on my shelf, But
right.
It was that way just because it was the pilot program. But
Right.
but now that it's full time, yeah, it could be. Yeah. Okay. Rick, you gonna say something?
Tiffany said it with that it didn't have to be in the bags for that part, so.
Okay.
So we wouldn't be, I mean, we probably have to offer those bags for sale, but they aren't required, so.
So are you comfortable that you know about the other communities that are already doing this? I mean, in HRRA, we have, besides the 3 pilots, we have 6 communities that are already collecting food scraps and disposing of them. Many of them already have the unit-based pricing for their MSW as well.
And a lot of it, read in the paper and so on, some of the communities, the consternation, which is always, I think, going to come to the forefront of people. It's the change, it's the understanding, the re-education of their own method of how you do things and what you do with it. But again, your point's well taken that the community will support and, in a sense, police itself, Jen, because they're not going to want to think that somebody's getting away with throwing waste away that they haven't actually, bags that they haven't actually purchased. And it goes back to the part we did talk about with seniors, giving them an option to have one bag. I mean, anybody could have one bag. So you pay as you go for what you use, and what you're putting an MSW or whatever recycling. That would be the tag, I think, piece to it. So.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like a little bit of the I don't know what it is. Like I feel your pain, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's hard to change. It's hard to change any kind of system. We're not reinventing the wheel. This is a very common practice in many communities across Connecticut, unit-based pricing, either paying by the bag or paying by the weight or paying with a ticket. Your transfer station is set up uniquely. But it's not something that I don't want you to feel like it shouldn't feel overwhelming. It's just you have to decide what you feel will work best for your community. But I don't want you to feel like, oh, this is so new to Connecticut or any other state. It's not new. It's new to Kent. I have to figure out how to make you comfortable with that. I don't know how to help you get there, where it's like, this isn't so bad. Everyone gets to still throw away their garbage. They can throw away as much garbage as they want. They just have to pay for it. So the rest of the taxpayers aren't paying for someone else's garbage. But how do we get there? So it's like, I just want to guide you through that. We can have additional, a working group meeting if you would feel more comfortable. We can work off that spreadsheet. I want you to tell us what you need to get to that place of feeling comfortable with how to move forward with a decision that will work best for you.
Can I just get again, is it May 15th when we have to have the plan? Is that the date we're looking at, Tiffany, or is that, we're still looking at the 15th?
Yes, yes. We've asked for the extension once. I don't know how open they would be for us to push it again, but I can certainly ask Connecticut Deep. They'd rather see us ask for a second extension and go forward with the program than to just flat out say no, I would imagine.
If you want me to write another letter, I'm writing letters all the time now. I'm forgetting letters I forgot wrote in January.
I think in any communication with Connecticut Deep at this point, it would be helpful if we are thinking that we need more time. Just put in the plan is maybe reasons why, explaining there's staffing obstacles that also need to be addressed. And although we can ask for the bridge funding to cover the transportation for the food scraps, that you're looking ahead to other ways to manage that material, and preferably on site if possible.
Yeah, I think that, I think we were just looking at and talking to Rick the last day or two, just looking to make sure that we weren't putting ourselves up against some deadline that we didn't think we could meet, and then there was going to be some issue with the state deep or whoever it was, that we didn't meet something, and certainly working with you guys, because you've done, as I said, phenomenal work supporting us on this. I don't know if we want to.
I'm ready, but I mean, I don't want to jam Rick up if he's not feeling comfortable, but I think I don't have a problem with the pay as you throw. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna I don't disagree. I agree that that's where we want to go. Like you said, I just wanted to make sure that we in the town and the transfer station, Rick, felt comfortable enough to be making that transition. And if we're not really up against a 1 July, I mean, we aren't financially, but not necessarily if there's bridge funding or there's other things we can do. Rick said,
right.
I think that other thing that we were talking about, being able to meet the deadlines to have bags in, to get the tags in, all that, publicized, and an educational process to go out to people, another town meeting, information meeting on what it means to go to unified-based pricing. That's the only part that if we're not running against it.
But we're 2 months, we're 2 months out, right?
Still, yeah. Effectively, yeah.
May, June.
Yeah.
And, last year, just might want to consider, there was a delay in implementing the transfer station permits because we were waiting for DEEP. I think we might have done it the second week in July. So we pushed it out and we told residents their current permit was still valid. So I'm just thinking outside the box of if you need to buy yourself time, there's always that option that we used last year, although, ideally it would all be put in place, of course, and it would go smoothly and there's no chaos, but I just consider that as another option. It went well last year.
I think I just didn't want to run the May 15 timeline. That's what I thought. We were dealing where we had to have a plan in place, and if we weren't all together, then if we did something, I don't know, people would probably do anything, but I just didn't want to miss that. But if we're not really, if that's just it's just to get a plan in, but we have time to actually execute that. It doesn't have to be in place and solid. That's the part that I was a little nervous about when talking to Rick about.
Right. That's the understanding, Marty, is that it doesn't have to start execution July 1st. Right. Okay. And your plan, when you communicate to them your plan, as you'll see on some of the samples that I sent you from other pilots, they don't even have hard dates of when they're going to execute specific pieces of their plan. They just want a really high level, yes, we're going to move forward with this.
And who's to say you couldn't say, hey, let's create a plan that we execute January 1st of 2025. And we give ourselves another 6 months beyond July. And you have a half year transfer station permit structure, and then you go full. Or maybe you tell them you're planning to do it July of 2025. Give yourself the time you need. They just want to know what kind of plan are you looking towards, and how are you going to get there? And then later we'll tell them we need more time. We just didn't have enough time. The 12-month structure you gave us wasn't enough. I will note we asked for an 18 to 24-month pilot, and we were cut down to 12 months. It clearly shows that you really do need more than 12 months to run a pilot like this. But I just want to put that in your back of your mind too. Hey, maybe we push this to January. Maybe we push it to next July. We try another year, 2.0, for July of this year to next year. So we don't get too ahead of ourselves and we don't make any mistakes along the way.
But if we did it in January, not just play devil's advocate, we would then be getting 2 sets of permits within 1 fiscal year. The actual hard copy permits.
Yep.
If you went with the current situation of seniors and regular.
Oh, so we turn
and then we divided it up and had, 4 or 5 different categories. That's a whole other set of permits. So I would much rather us get it done and go for July 1 if we can. But I need to understand the hesitancy, Rick, of like what from your perspective, like, can we do it or not?
We can do it. There's going to be a lot of, say, arguments this year to start with.
That's going to happen whenever you start it, though.
Yeah. And hopefully whether we have somebody through the grant or hire another person, we're still going to have to do a lot more enforcement than we did this year, because everybody's bringing all like 3 different colors a week. They were just using up all the bags they were given. I don't think too many were trying to, except for separating out the food. I don't think they're trying to cut back too much on all the other stuff. So
Maybe it's a suggestion to, if the concern is the backlash or that any negativity, which I don't think will be the majority, but I completely understand the concern of those few that can be very difficult. That's where we come in, and we need to be supportive of you. And that's where we get deep to give us more funding to say, we need someone to be here for the next 3 months, every Saturday and Sunday, to support the transfer station operator, because it's a small facility and we want to be that buffer. So that when someone has an issue, Rick can go talk to that person, Jen Heaton-Jones over there, if you have an issue. So we can be the buffer, and Rick can do what he does, which is really great at the facility.
I think normally most households are going to cooperate, but there are people in town that clean out houses and stuff like that for, if somebody's moving or something like that, and they're bringing in 10, 20, 50-gallon or 40-gallon bags that we're going to either have to make sure they buy ahead of time, or we're going to have somebody there collecting money for those. So
I think we definitely need to have those the larger household 32-gallon bags, because there's going to be some people that definitely want that.
Yeah, that would go. So, Jen, that's a good thing. If people are moving out of a house, say moving next door to where their house is, and they have stuff that they clean up. It's like my house. No, they told you that.
No.
Yeah, but downside about time. But anyway, when they do, have that or a contractor come in, and they keep going. Sorry. You grab, you bring a lot of stuff out of a house that you're, cleaning out or whatever. What happens if it's just, should they just be using the 32? Because Home Depot and Lowe's now they have the 55 and the big ones, people like to store a lot of stuff in, a lot of construction material, things like that. How do we handle that? How is that different, than just a help bring our, municipal solid waste, household waste?
Well, we could be creative. This is where we brainstorm and we say, okay, what happens when those one-offs, when someone's cleaning out their house and they decide not to rent a dumpster, but the rest of the residents shouldn't have to pay for this person who's decided to wait 15 years to clean out their house and they have 10 55-gallon garbage bags. They should have to pay for it. So they have to
Right.
pay. We will have to put that in the price structure. Maybe there is a 55-gallon bag structure for those one-offs. Just to make it fair, it's still providing a service to them in the community at the transfer station for disposal. It's cheaper than renting a dumpster, but they have to pay for it. Now, think about what's happening, whether it's a small business or someone who is cleaning their house out. Is that fair to the rest of the residents and the taxpayers that's a lot of material that the town is paying for. And, Mrs. Smith, who makes a half a bag of garbage a week, is also paying for that. So that's where the unit-based pricing makes it more fair. I don't know if I completely answered it, but it's basically saying we need to brainstorm and say, let's come up with a solution for that. There's got to be a price structure for those who decide to do a major cleanup.
Yeah.
It's not free unless you're going to provide 1 year. So there are small towns. I'll use Bridgewater as an example, another very small town. I actually think it's smaller than Kent. I live there. They have twice a year, every 6 months, a bulky waste drop off. It's not a pickup anymore at the curb. You bring it to the transfer station. There's a designated container. It's only there for 5 days. It's the time of year the residents clean out their garage or their basement or whatever, and that's their chance, and there's no cost. If you could also provide a 1 time a year or a 2 time of year program like that. Otherwise, the rest of the year, they have to pay as they go.
Rick, how often do you see contractors coming in now? Like, someone's just renovating a kitchen or something like that, and just has like a whole bunch of drywall or something in there, or whatever it may be, that they've got in larger bags. You see that every now and then, I mean, probably every weekend at least.
Every weekend in bags, but if they bring it in and it's not bagged, we charge them to put it in the bulky waste. But if they come in with a truckload of bags, I'm like going to start going through every bag, see what's in it. But
do you think there's well, I guess there could be, I mean, obviously everything's possible, but that we could have a fee structure for that if there are some of those that come in with 5, 6, 7 bags, big bags or something like that?
I think we should have something built in that there will be a fee if you don't bring what's in the bag.
Yeah.
Just to cover that. I mean, I wouldn't expect people to be bringing different colors every week and paying every week. I don't want to get into that, but as far as like those large size bags, or we either need to have somewhere besides us in town where they can purchase them, so they can get them during the week, then bring them on the weekend, or we have to be able to charge for them if they use say a black bag or whatever.
Do you have a preference? Do you think that the bags should be sold at the transfer station and in stores, or?
Yes.
Thank you.
Either at the IJ or Ace, or I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get people. You can buy different color bags on Amazon too. So unless our bags are marked somehow, we really wouldn't know for sure if they were purchased in town or not.
Unless we examine every bag too, 3, 4 bags.
And I was assume that if we sell them at IJ or Ace, then they're going to want a little bit off the top too. So
that's common. Yeah. So in many of the programs that Waste Zero has implemented, they actually help the town put them in the little local markets, the IGA, Stop and Shops, etc. So that is a common practice. So not to worry there. I think the color of the bags, they're still, if they're orange, they're very unique. They can come in other colors like purple, but I know we've gotten a lot of feedback that some residents don't like that bright color in their kitchen. So it might be a lighter baby blue color, but nonetheless, it's not typically something you can buy regularly, and it would be custom.
Yeah, we, other pilots have branded the bag, so it'll say Town of Kent with
Right.
whatever on it you would like, but
Does that cost more, Tiffany, when you brand it?
you'd be surprised it's not, per bag, depending on the quantity that you order, it would not be a meaningful difference. And Newtown is one of the other pilots that chose to have a branded bag.
And the cost of the bag is gonna be covering the contents more than the bag itself. So
Right.
a couple cents more to have it branded, then it's a minimal thing compared to the weight that they'll be able to put in.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. I'll give you your thoughts.
I mean, whatever we decide, I definitely want Rick to be comfortable
Yeah.
with this,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, we can manage it, yeah.
I mean, do we feel like we want to make a decision now? Do we want to wait? I mean,
Well, I was gonna suggest, since we're gonna have a meeting on the 6th, that we chew on this a little bit. Ask around maybe and get a little bit more planning with, we have an HR meeting tomorrow, but plan on the one-offs, like what do we do for construction bag? Somebody coming, how do we plan that in? Because that would still give us time to come back, implement this, and then probably need to be able to meet that 15 May deadline with at least getting the outline of our plan, talk to Rick about the implementation, whether we wait them, till 1 August or something or whatever, and then look at, I don't want to go January. I think if we're going to do it, I agree we should do it sometime in the next couple of months. But that's the education program and be able to put that in place. We have an information meeting and then stand up there like you did last year, Tiffany, with the food scraps and every weekend talk to people and explain it all, and that helps. And then word of mouth gets out as well. But
Sure.
As you said, I think we were number 3 or 4 in the region with our right in the number you used.
You're remarkable for the size of your town and the fact that your community additionally backyard composts. It's one of the better communities for backyard composting that I think right now you're right at 20 tons of material that you've removed just in food scrap. So it's really, as far as the other pilots went, yes, you were number 3 of all 15 pilots.
That's good. I know so again, it's a heck of a town for wanting to do the right thing and wanting to, to improve our environment and do something a little different. I think part of it is, again, and we're trying to, be able to handle it. That he's not going to get overwhelmed, as we implement this, that we have the people in place and the support and the education to go around with that, So we can push through it now. We can.
I don't want to wait until the 6th, but I don't want to, I really do want to see it go fairly quickly.
I agree.
I also wanted to say that I do like the idea of having seniors, a regular household and a larger household, and the organics. I think that's really important to have all of that.
Sure.
Different, like 4 different. 4 different categories.
I agree, because organics. Why we do the organics, we have a long-term commitment with roadside pickup that my mother-in-law did years ago that is still in place. So it's relatively cheap for us to roll out the barrel, at the house. Yeah. But organics, I'm not going to be building a big garden like I did last year, so that would be the food waste.
And I know Rick said we didn't have that many people that did organics only, but the ones that did, I think were really psyched to be able to do it. So I think it's nice to be able to offer that.
Yeah. And then the manning, that's part of the concern with Rick and all that is just the manning and getting the right people up there. Joyce has the same feeling because we're, look at some of the people applying and folks interested but not applying, get it, to reach out a little bit more to make it work, to encourage people to want to work up to the transfer station and make sure you have staff. Because this past weekend, the guys off the town crew had to come in.
I saw Scott was there.
Yeah, I was there one day, Pete was there another day, I was there Saturday. Pete was there, so.
I'm okay with waiting until the 6th. That'll give Rick some more time to figure out staffing. It'll give Rick some more time to think about this. But whatever we decide, I want him to be comfortable, like I said. And if we can do something on the 6th, then that meets the 15th
I think
May
I'll
deadline.
yeah.
So, and I would like to try July. I mean, January, like you said, I mean, 2 different permits over the course of the year. That's,
Yeah.
let's start clean. And going out a full other year, I think is too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we're the number three,
Another option we had talked about.
we're the number 3 town of the pilot. I mean, we can,
Yeah, and, you know,
we did well. So, I think we should try.
Rick, any comments on that?
No, if we're gonna do it, I'd prefer a decision sooner than later, because we can't actually renew any permits until we
Right?
Yeah.
decide this.
Exactly.
Reduce the rate, increase the rate of the permit to cover, so.
You know, I think what we'll do is we'll put together some specifics for our town, looking at this and with Rick and make sure we have that. Obviously with Tiffany and Jen as well, many one-offs and so on like that, using your experience, of course. So I won't write any letters until we're ready to write. The joke.
Jen keeps making me attend recycle meetings where they're taking less and less recycles all the time, so.
Yeah, but that's the other part, right?
It would be nice to survey the permit holders just to find out how many of them participated in the organics. It'd be nice to know that, you know?
Yeah.
We certainly can. The first survey that we sent out after about 4 months, we had a pretty good response, probably 15% of the permit holders. But we could certainly send a second survey.
And also, if we don't need to use the bag, you know, the green bags and all that, if it's, we can bring a can in or something with, you know, whatever, you know, and we put that in the survey, would you be more interested if you weren't confined to a specific, you know, bag process or whatever? It could be something, I don't know if we'll get it done at 6, but just encourage more use and more participation, I mean.
I heard a lot of complaints about the fruit flies. And
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason is the container you guys chose with the venting.
Yeah.
I've composted for decades and I have a really cool one that sits in my kitchen, but it's sealed. It doesn't have holes. And
If you're getting fruit flies, it's been sitting too long. But it's a personal choice. You do not have to use the vented
That's
bin.
true.
The vented bin was designed to slow down the decomposition because it does get warm and when it's enclosed, particularly with those bio bags. But residents should be encouraged to use whatever works for them, and they should be encouraged to empty that kitchen container out every 2 days and put it in their larger container that's outside or in their garage and not on their kitchen counter to attract those fruit flies. But that's part of our public education. It's great feedback because we'll make sure that we address that in some more of our outreach.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks, Lynn.
A lot of people didn't like the idea of having food outside their house because of bears though. So.
I understand. I mean, again, another personal choice. I live in Bridgewater, plenty of bears. Our bears come through our backyard. They are more attracted to my bees, but I am a lazy I actually compost at home. And I do consider myself sometimes a lazy composter because I have 2 6-gallon containers sometimes piled up waiting for me to walk them across my yard to my compost pile. I've never had a bear knock my organics over, ever. I swear, never had an issue. The only time I had an issue is we had a raccoon, dumped it over when I had a bungee cord on it, but that was on another street. Other than that, I've not had a problem. And that was when we did the curbside, put it out at the streets. That was another pilot we did 10 years ago. But other than that, I've never had a problem putting it outside. But again, personal preference, put it in your garage, put it in your basement, keep it somewhere. Or if you have concerns like that, and then you bring it to the transfer station. Keep it frozen.
Your bear's like cooking oil anyway.
That's right.
After this week, yes.
What was that? What did you?
What's that?
What'd you say, Rick? We couldn't hear you.
After this week, there seems to be one that's pretty slimy around town that's took a bath in it.
All right, so, well, thank you for your time this evening. Thank you for letting us join you to answer
Yeah, thank you
questions.
for-
I hope we didn't overwhelm you.
No, actually.
No, it was helpful.
Yeah, it was very helpful. How did the recycling, and I just want to mention Ann Starr, who represented me there today. And always, she's been there in the past. Of course, we had the meeting tonight, so I couldn't be both places, but we appreciate you guys coming in, Jen, typically. But I want to thank Ann for doing the recycling, or the recycling poster program tonight. And we'll do the Arbor Day on Friday, which that was nice of her to do that.
Yes, we appreciate Ann Starr. She's been a great champion, a local champion for the town of Kent, and particularly for our annual recycling billboard contest. So thank you. I'm glad you recognized her. We are going to sign off. Have a great night.
Have a nice evening. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, yes, we'll see you tomorrow.
Have
Have a good night.
Good night now. All right, so we'll postpone this. We'll put together some ideas, some plans. We'll go over some concerns that we need to address as well. Staffing and education. Outside of our unit pricing, what do we do for contractors or bulkier bags and waste and so on like that. And then we'll look at because at JA it's pretty packed in there. Finding a place where they can put it or store bags or whatever. I'll have to talk to Greg. What that can be done might be the same with ACE, but we would get together with those guys and see what their thoughts would be, and maybe even down at Hackover.
I'm sure the local stores will be so.
Well, I'm sure they will. I just want to make sure that they, understand how many potentially. And we could do even a 1-day sale day here on a Saturday morning or something up to the transfer station or whatever, and actually do that as well. Get a couple of us here, maybe the board set up trying to help out and do all that too. But we'll put all that the whole plan together for us, and then see where we go. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah. Thank
Thank you very much for your input.
Good questions. Okay. Yeah, I got split fingers. Man, I have like crazy. Okay. Moving on to the next. So services quarter report. Start having. She put it on anyway, but we need to bring that in. So she isn't able to join us tonight, unfortunately, but pretty a report on what's going on with the social services. We're really making an effort to get out. Thank you. Right. To get out and do more communication and education. The social services specifically are doing so. One of the things I do want to mention, I know there's been questions and just concerns about the responses and response times to some of the queries people bring to the town. So she has started really recording and reporting the numbers so that we do know people who do it make a call are getting answered. So so it's 50 of those direct service appointments are completed, 55. There's people up there all the time and walk right by her office, and she does a good job of that. I just want to again highlight on the food bank. The Kent Food Bank is serving an average of 45 to 50 households, which is over 105 individuals a week, which is good that they are able to do that, and kind of talks to the state of food costs and so on, for sure. Donations to the food banks can be lower than usual. Requests for donations have been spread. Everybody, Lions Clubs, Boy Scouts, other organizations are stepping up to help do food drives. And they're putting out more information regularly on what's needed before they go into the Friday food bank. So if somebody is out and say Costco or something going down, wants to pick up an extra thing of paper towels or food or sugar or tuna or whatever, they can do that as well. So we're trying to do that. So the FFA did a great job from the Houstonic High School. They participated in the food drive for that, so which is really good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was really good. That was pretty good. And just small group volunteering, relying on the volunteers. There's been a lot of comments going around about about appreciating and respecting the work that volunteers do. I mean, even though we're somewhat compensated here, I am compensated. Still, we put a lot of time in because we care, and that's the town. It's always been. So I think what we all got involved with what we've done here, what we do with our other time that they've been involved with the Historical Society and others. Len and I are, in Lions. We do it because, we care about the community and there's no doubt that, within the social services food bank especially, there's a great group of people that are there every Friday. I just always want to welcome them.
Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, well, Thursday, that's right, setting up, yeah. I've unloaded a couple of the food share orders, the panels that come in. I've been ordered a couple of times to help out as well as Bussy as well, so. So you said the new flooring is installed, the ARPA came in, they did it on 2 floors, we've been over there, it looks really nice. It's good, sure, yeah, it's great. That was done in 2 days, it was actually less than 2 days, so. And back page, just the collaboration and support of the schools, Marblewood, Kent, South Kent, and so on. Even the high school is with the FFA, Park and Recreation, and has done a great job of different programs and cooperation in the luncheon, which is great. And they've set policies to help encourage that use and understand how we go about and make the best use of everybody's abilities and programs. Also, just wanted to mention Monica, the intern that's been working it for quite a while. She's kind of in and out, you don't see her a lot, but she has been working a lot and learning a lot. And she's in her master's program at Wisconsin. So that was great to do that. I'm sure Samantha will be looking to continue that. And then the other, I just wanted to again point out the $38,561.73 have been awarded to the Kent residents to the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program to date. So again, new things have opened up. A rent rebate program opened up here in April. Kent Community Funds, they've done a phenomenal job. $10,000, almost $11,000 mortgage requests and other rental assistance, auto repair, and so on. We even had this past month a check came in from the COG to help an individual. We had no idea what the COG was sending us a check, but they do the neighbor to neighbor program. They're helping administer that program through the COG, which is great. Something else that they can do. So we didn't know why the COG sending us a check for a certain amount of money. So, so there's a lot of groups that are helping out, and there's a lot of ability and support out there. So we're going to continue to encourage social services, people who use social service to reach out for Sam or anyone else that actually needs it. It goes in there. So. Any comments or anything else?
No, but I think it's very helpful to have a lot of this data and to show how much work they are doing into the community.
Exactly. Yeah, so that they do see and also to see where there may be some gaps that we can work on as well. So yeah, it's good. Okay. All right. Into old business now. A credit card.
No, we had the health insurance plan.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I apologize. I won't let it into this.
So,
yes, sir,
yeah, when we were talking about the budget, we talked about possibly looking at health insurance alternatives, but then we never really went beyond that. So what is the process? That's why I wanted to talk about it. It's like, what is the process for looking into that? How do we get the broker here so we can talk to them?
And that's it. We need to get the broker here. The part of the reason we went with this regional plan that's I used to have almost all the towns, actually all like 7, 8, 9, 10 towns, whatever, in the Northwest region were together. They've been peeling out. Cornwall now does the state plan. That's different. Ours is a little different plan. Joyce is the HR on this, so correct me or update as I go. But so we're looking at that, but we're not going to be wedded to that because we're going to have a broker come in and look at all the plans. We are negotiating with the union at the town garage, town barn, with our public works guys this year. So we've kind of gone with one plan instead of having multiple plans that's been in the past. I think we can look to find ways to get other plans, state plans and so on, to meet what the union wants, which is at or better than what they've had before, to make sure they're not losing any kind of coverage. We need to see that. I know that I received a report, and I think I even read it, maybe some of you a few months ago, to the state is now stepping up to limit the increases to 2% over a year. They wanted to look at a 4 to 8 year or 8 quarter, 4 to 8. Okay, I have to go back and find exactly what, but it was a numerous year plan to only limit based on state funding and support for limiting increases for that plan, which would be good. And then to look at increasing mental health awareness, substance abuse awareness, things like that always tend to cost a lot, but are very necessary. So that and ensure that you never go back on any coverage. So that was their plan. I haven't seen their final report yet, but I think this year, the legislature is looking at that. It's one of their many bills. But yeah, it would be to get our broker in to take a look at all the plans we have, everything else. And that's our, my plan was to do that, probably the first of the year. I don't think we're going into negotiations, Lynn, or Joyce. Are we going into negotiations in the fall, correct? Of the contract?
I believe it's this year, yes.
Yeah, so.
So when you say this year, it's like the new fiscal
Within the
year,
fiscal year.
starting July 1.
No,
Uh,
next year,
Next year.
20, so that it will go.
Yeah, but we go into
Correct me if I'm wrong,
negotiations
Rick.
this fall to get a contract for the next.
To have it ready for
Correct.
July of 2025.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what I was not clear on.
Okay, sorry,
So,
yeah, when it starts,
yeah.
and, it's fiscal year, but like I said, some negotiations have been on, or 3 meetings, and man, we came to agree, and others take a long time. And in the past, this has been a bit lengthy, or agreement with our Teamsters, but if we can get the broker up and find out get the state plan finalized, right? What they said they were gonna try to do, see what they actually have, that will give the brokers an honest look at what we can do to improve health plans across. But yeah, so I'll be picking up the health plan this year myself. Kathleen's retiring, so we'll lose her state coverage. She probably put her letter in. So, I'll be looking to try to pick that up as well. So let's have the best plan I can. And we've been on state plan for years to the university, so good plan.
So it really we wouldn't be able to do it for this budget year. It would have to be July 1 of 25.
Yeah, because we're committed to this year with the contract and we'll reach.
Okay.
That's correct, right? We're not gonna be able to change it for this year, 25, when July 25, we can change.
Okay. That's why I was unclear, and that's why I wanted to bring it up to talk about, because it sounded like before we could talk about it earlier, so.
Okay, yeah. Okay. And set the meeting for the hearing, the budget hearing, or the
Town
the
meeting.
town meeting, sorry. After the meeting, after hearing the town meeting.
It's not for the town meeting, it's for approval
No.
of the agenda of the town meeting.
Approval of the agenda for the May 17th town meeting on the budget.
Okay.
So May 6th looks like it'll work. Like, does it have to
Time,
be
May
late?
6th is, I can go early in the afternoon, or I can go later. Yeah, I can do 12:30 to 2. So you can do early afternoon.
Okay. Any issue, Joyce, that you have?
Does Tuesday the 7th work better? Because that way I have Barbara in the office if the Board of Finance makes any changes, because she has to modify the first page of that document if there's any changes, and she doesn't work on Mondays.
Right.
So Tuesday, a little bit later in the day may work better.
Is that the referendum for Region 1? Does that
It is,
matter?
it is.
We probably just wouldn't be able to use this room.
No, we could go upstairs and use the conference room upstairs. And it's when, yeah, so this, you can get a Zoom.
Tuesday the 7th, let me see. I could do. I could do 4:30 or 5. I could do later in the afternoon. Yeah, yeah, 4:30.
4:30. Yeah. 4:30, Tuesday the 7th.
Saturday, Tuesday, 4:30.
Okay. Okay.
So actually, that'd be two things, because we'd be dealing with
Yeah.
the transfer station
Yeah.
permit structure
Right.
and the
Yeah, yeah,
town
yeah.
meeting.
Okay.
And maybe that'll be the only special meeting we need this month.
That'd be nice. I was thinking about that.
A new record for us.
Really, the 7th, maybe able to get everything in there, so. We'll do that. Okay, all right, so motion for the, do we have to make a motion for that? We probably don't. Let's make a motion for that. Okay. So that's 495. And old business credit cards for department heads. Like anything else, looking at, I mean, it's not easy. No. We started looking at actual policy on credit cards, not just have the credit card. So we need to have a policy and talk to Barbara. She'd like to see actually having us have a policy before we actually hand out credit cards. And reading,
That's smart.
it is smart. And reading is the ones from Provincetown, Mass, and Greenwich, and Lancaster. Some are really simple. Lancaster's fairly simple, straightforward. Others are more involved, of course, like Greenwich. So I'll copy these and send them out to you guys. And
Okay.
we'll take a look at all these. These are three, I think, that are fairly comprehensive. And then I think we'll get that and then we can get through. Banks also, I don't know, maybe they're waiting for us to be able to give exactly how we're going to distribute it for the banks. I don't think they understand if they would give a crap, honestly, but still it'd be best for us to do that. So Barbara knows exactly how they, so, all right, so we'll get those out and then we'll get that done at, okay. Okay, broadband subcommittee update.
Well, we had a meeting today and it was a little depressing because I thought we were making great progress. And then the deep officials finally clarified this thing that we've been asking about for literally months of like, what happens if a person can purchase a higher priced plan? And they had not answered that so that I understood what the restrictions were. And so I thought we were gonna like, all these people are the majority of people in Kent, based on the screenshots they're sending us, are not meeting the minimum upload speed. But unfortunately, because Spectrum offers a higher speed at a higher price, they're probably not gonna qualify as a challenge.
Really?
Yeah,
Just 'cause they could
but
get-
they gave us diametrically opposed information at one of the webinars, which is really annoying. Verbally, they gave us that information, and there's nothing in their guide that they gave us to do a challenge that says this information. They've now given it to us. It's very frustrating.
Wow. So if it's available to purchase, then.
Yeah, but it's like the highest level.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like
That's what I'm-
over $100 a month. I don't want to spend that much on. So anyway.
Did you get any idea how many, just in general, well, it's cable itself, but how much people are actually spending? Is it just on the internet? I mean, you're just dealing with the internet, you know? Just,
Oh, no, we actually have, one of the pieces of evidence is I have had to ask for their bill. So yeah, I do know how much they're spending.
a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's ridiculously expensive. And unfortunately, that's not a factor in all of this, which really is wrong when you talk about affordability.
Right, exactly, especially
You know,
in, you know,
It's,
modest income, you know, older.
so I don't know. I'm gonna push back and I submitted 2 challenges and I asked them for feedback on those 2 challenges, which they said they would do before the deadline. So I got them done. Interestingly, they did tell me today that they did push back the deadline to May 14th. So some of my griping and complaining did something.
It just didn't make sense.
Yeah, so the committee said that they really would like me to follow through and submit more challenges. So, you know, we can say we tried and we'll have the data. People have been wonderful this past week of like, because we're so close, please, please, please. So they've been sending in a lot of stuff. So I do want to encourage people to send in, if they haven't finished up, we do need 3 screenshots plus a bill in order to have a complete challenge. The other thing that the committee decided to do is actually do a little stronger outreach to Frontier, because Frontier is putting in fiber optic.
Right.
They haven't done much yet, but we want to explore what kind of a partnership we could have with them
Good.
because that is competition for Spectrum. Yeah.
Now, how did Sharon do it? I think Warren did, Frontier, correct?
I don't know.
Oh, that's sure.
That's one thing
Okay.
would help us if you could send out to the COG folks and if all the selectmen could either send you or send me, who their broadband person is.
Sure.
Because we'd
Okay.
like to see if we can do some cooperative work in the northwest corner with the folks that are actually interested in this.
Yeah.
And then the thought is maybe if we partner with Frontier, we can really get a lot done, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I'd heard that they were up with Warren, but, I'm sure.
And Sharon is working with Comcast.
Comcast.
Yeah, and they actually, they decided to spend bonded and to get, because they have so many people that just have no internet at all. I mean, really, the only people that have no internet are people in the northwest corner here of Kent, like Chippewa Road and
Right.
Nodine Pastures Road. Those are the only locations, and a lot of those people have gone with satellite.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
they do come up as unserved on the map, so it is possible that there'll be some federal money for them.
Yeah.
Possible.
I know that just anecdotally, upstate New York, my brother lives up to Denton, a part of half a mile road in, maintained by the town in Little Falls, City of Little Falls, and all that stuff. Verizon has full high-speed internet right to the end of his road. They will not come down his road. And he's tried everything in the world. And you know, he had Dish Net and TV, but he said, so he finally went to Starlink. Cost him $125 a month, but he now has full capability. But that's, you know, a half mile away. And yet I was up in, yeah, I was up in the top mountains of the Adirondacks a year or two ago, and then they are pouring in fiber up to these towns that, you know, go from 300 in July to 25 in December, but they're putting high-speed internet out there. And I'm like, it makes sense. But anyway, there's some questions about whether or not the funding that some of these companies got that they actually put into, you know, I think Verizon, that was upstate New York. They did some challenges to exactly what they were doing with the money they've been given federally to actually reach out and bring internet to those underserved areas or non-served areas. But this is supposed to be part of it, I think.
So Frontier told us that they were planning on serving 500 homes in Kent. So, and according to Rick, he thinks that that's just basically Route 7, Route 341.
Yeah.
Not on those main
Right.
state roads,
That's-
you're out of luck. But I mean, that's just their initial one.
All right, I'll send that note out to everyone.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do some collaborative work.
Good luck, you're doing a great job. I mean, yeah, they are. There's a lot of people talking about it.
That's good.
Good work.
Swift.
Swift House. So,
So your notes and.
yeah, I don't have too much new here, just to say that, you know, we of course met on Thursday, April 11th with Silver Petroselli and, you know, talking with Tim Tack and David Stein. That was great. It was really nice to see that done. So thank you. Thank you. The Friday, April 12th, the next day, we met with Marina and Todd at the Swift House. I thought that was a great meeting. Learned a lot about old wood and timber and how things are constructed. And usually being in that house, we're in the actual like first floor, but we spent a lot of time in the basement looking at old stone. And of course, the attic looking at old timber. So that was great. I enjoyed that. Right after that meeting, I emailed Marina with our emails because what she wanted, and I didn't hear back from her. Yet I emailed her again today. Sorry about Thursday, April 18th. I couldn't get here. Sorry about that.
Just want to make sure you're all right.
No, I'm all right. Thank you. Just busy with stuff. And, but I just, so at that meeting, we approved the Silver Petroselli report. Correct.
Right,
Meaning
so
that
what
we,
they've sent us and with a request for the changes to the map.
okay,
Right, and, you know, we talked to Tim today, about that. He's also, Zan had asked for a change in the scale of the maps, and she was having difficult reading them online, so, we also gave that to them, so, to Tim, to ask her to increase the scale, so to half inch, so that she could read them a little better, so.
Okay, so
And
it's
then-
still working.
Yeah, they're still,
Documents.
producing the final one. I know,
So we've accepted it, but he's still.
well, we want
We
to.
asked for a few
Right,
changes.
tweaks,
Changes, okay.
yeah, specific to the use and so on after having, the, Stan and Joe in here, in here talking about how to designate, areas.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So, so yeah, there'll be, I think it's meeting, yeah, we're get rid of that kitchen designation on that back, we're gonna put meetings right now. And then current use upstairs is storage, I believe that's how we finally got the motion together, but, yeah, so that's what the map, we asked them to come back.
So the design,
Right.
nothing's changing, it's just.
Labels.
Labeling,
Gotcha,
yeah, lots
the
of
labeling, and that's what I want.
And the entryway.
And the entryway, so.
Okay, we decided on the porch.
Exactly, we did it right, that's.
So the porch, so why the porch? So,
We thought pulling it together and jump in here, actually using the porch that was there and building up so we can make a safer, no bump entrance into that room ADA. Made a lot more sense than going all the way around, coming in through the rooms and then coming through that way.
it's more direct.
It was a little bit more direct.
And also, it's pretty, it's the front door,
It's the front door.
you know?
Into
It's
that
not,
big
you know,
meeting room.
the front, but it's the one that most people use. And, like Todd said, a lot of times they try not to have the accessible entrance in the back.
Yes,
And
he said that,
And I-
we talked
and I
about
think,
that.
yeah, so it's,
The long ramp, the whole house also an issue. Winter time, I mean, the whole 9 yards of maintaining it all. To me, I looked at winter time, what's gonna happen if we have some function in the winter, December, there's ice and snow that ramp, unless we're out there actually maintaining it. It
we
wouldn't
have
be
to.
really easy. We'd have to, right? Yeah,
But that porch will stay there, it'll be gone, and how does all this gonna work?
Stay.
There's gonna be a ramp to.
Yeah, either that or a lift, we'd have to look exactly.
Or a
how to
lift.
do that, yeah.
the lifts are not very attractive,
No,
that I saw.
Not attractive.
Yeah, we have one at our, does the congregation have one? I noticed that. We have one in our church in Cornwall. And we kind of hide it back in the back room where the priest and the sacristy area. But yeah, it's noisy, it's monstrous, and sometimes again during the winter when we have it cleared out, it doesn't work really well because of the outside stuff. So that or the ramp itself, we have to.
No, thank you. Again, sorry I couldn't be there.
And then I guess that what we kind of kicked back to the task force.
Yeah,
And took that, it was you guys to look at the further use, to go out maybe and update it and get ready for town meeting to discuss.
okay, yeah, I just had
Yeah.
a bunch of
I saw your
bunch of
notes
questions
here.
here, actually, yeah, so just next steps, I definitely reached out to Marina today, I think, Dan as well, so how long will it take to get on the state registry? And she said not very long, she thought. And once that happens, then we can try for this historic restoration.
Yeah, there's grants across the, and
But that process starts in January for the next year, so that's not
Right.
gonna, yeah, so I think at a previous report, I gave you that timeframe, so that's not soon. So knowing it's not soon, and then we can look at other grants certainly, but so the role of the Swift House really for the rest of this year, is to what?
well, to get ready, part of it also was to go back to the task force to get that money that is in on the budget now and into the summer, the new fiscal year money. It's for you guys to come up with a plan to do that and
Okay.
even look out to, get contractors in place and so on for.
Okay, so a plan for the money that's in this year's
Yeah,
budget.
it's well, and actually get it, yeah.
Okay, so we can work with you.
Does the
George.
town have a bid policy? Like, is there a certain amount of money when it has to go out to bid?
I think it is, I think it's. We're,
10,000.
is it 10,000?
10,000.
Yeah, so, yeah,
10,000.
okay.
All right, well, thank you. So, all right, so that's the role of the Swift House Task Force. So I know we're trying to have a meeting, select meetings. I think we decided, today, on Thursday, May 2nd at 5 o'clock, which, and I think maybe at the Swift House even. So we'll keep meeting and, we'll keep talking with you, Joyce, and, and we'll keep posted and.
In our, just so that we don't continue to go through the issue of trying to record and Zoom and so on meetings, It stays, I went back to look because I think it's ridiculous to try to zoom in that building in and out.
Yeah,
How
it's hard.
And the lights, the dim as well they are. So all you have to do is have a audio recording.
Okay.
Audio is a minimum standard for us. It says if you can't do the Zoom, you can't do online recording.
Yep.
So, yeah, and I'm gonna put that out to everyone because I know that sometime that meeting we went to with the school board, they hadn't recorded anything as far as we know. And also, and they have to, we need to have it recalled. And there's others
And
that.
the historic district commission needs to be reminded
Right,
too.
exactly. I think you
And
crossed.
they got a new chairman, so.
Right, good. Yeah, we're gonna do the whole thing. There's a lot of stuff we're gonna do.
Okay, good.
Update that. Yeah, let's update, make sure everybody has the capability. If we need to get people on Zoom, we can do that here with our license, town license and so on. Or they can't do online, but they at least have to have an audio recording.
The audio is
It's
much easier.
I really think that every chairman should be able to have a Zoom account because you can't ask for people to do this. if
Right,
You don't
the
give
clerk
them
or
the tools.
or the chair, and we're working on that as well.
Clerk or chair, yeah.
Right, make sure, and then educate people, again, there's a gentleman that showed up today that was a mayor in Brewster, New York, and he dealt with a lot of water issues, thing, but there are people out there that are willing to come up and do things. So it's partly our responsibility in towns, like back here, to make sure that people are prepared, aware, and prepared to do that. So if they need training on how to do it, we can do that as well. On how to handle a meeting, because we have had issues with clerks now not sure how to turn it on. How to record from home if they're not able to make the meeting. And there's ways they can do it. Certainly Joyce has stepped up many times to do that. So, education of exactly what our requirements are that the town has met. And all boards, even so independent like they are over at school board, things that they have to do that the town wants. So we'll put that out as well. That's
All right, now, Swift Task Force looks like we're gonna meet on the second. We'll do an audio and we'll keep you posted at the next meeting of what happens. But still pressure Sally, that is now done.
Then it's with the updates they're going to give on the new scale.
They'll give us updates and they'll come back to us with the-
Relabeled, it's like that. That's pretty much built our contract. We do it all in the background then.
Okay. So the next time we meet, I'm hoping that I can say that we're in state registry moving forward. So that's the next step. So, okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, resident trooper report. We said the excitement of getting it now named and all that stuff. It's a report in. So I said, okay, but she'll have it tomorrow. She said, you'll have it. So we will have it. Send it to everybody. We'll put it on our website as well. But it's great that we have that resident trooper and we're happy that Nikki Donahoe.
Do we want to do any kind of reception to welcome her?
We were talking about that today.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that. I think we're gonna have a little welcome time during the Kent Sidewalk or the Spring Fest.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
talking to her about being there on the 4th.
Okay.
Actually setting up a little table in a couple hours, whatever. Maybe some tchotchkes. She has, as a community relations officer, again, we talked about, she has the time to do that. And she has some other methods and training things that she can go out to talk a little bit about what resident troopers and what the state police actually do in the community. So that she's really good at that. When I researched the background on her, and saw Oxford, if you just Trooper Vicky Donahoe, there's a bunch of stuff she did in Oxford. Oxford's a little tougher in the community. I didn't think it was quite as tough, but quite a bit. She did a lot. She was awarded a few citations for the work she did there as well. So I think we're getting a pretty solid. We do have a solid image that we're not getting, but she's here. But yeah, we're going to get her out to having. I thought that would work well with the Spring Fest actually.
Would she be at the Golden Falcon area?
Yeah, we're going to
Okay,
find
cool.
a place for that. So we'll talk to the chamber
Awesome.
to find out what we can do for that. So she just has to work out times. She is on this week, so we'll be meeting with her tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday is her. Every other Friday she's off because of her schedule, and then she works with all the other functions she has. So, but every other Friday we meet together and just go over stuff like that. So anything that we need, any comments, any background material, if the town, you guys find out something like that, or are interested in finding out what she's doing, what the region's doing, or the Troop Al is doing, let us know, and we'll get that information as well. So
Just to say it was nice to meet her in this room, with that Memorial Day parade that Matt got going. And I asked her, I said, so when are your office hours? I can come and just chat, just introduce myself. It's like, well, I'm usually out there. I'm usually,
drive fast and Main Street. You'll meet her.
2 days later, I'm assuming it was her, but she pulled out on Main Street, pulled someone over right there. I'm like, okay, not good to see her in
Yeah.
the office. So it was nice, but the people have noticed,
Yeah.
that she's a very strong presence.
She is strong, and like I said, with the town, she's trying to meet them, she's trying to, again, as I said, a little note about her selection, is that she just wants to make sure people know how safe she believes the town should be. And if you've noticed too, coming in town, the speed laws, or speed limits have changed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Glenn, and your committee.
Safe committee, did a great job with that. I've been hearing complaints about it already, and I'm like, thank you very much.
Tell them, just slow down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's, need to work on Elizabeth Street still a little bit, but it's. slowed down a
Yes.
little bit.
And Lane.
Yeah, and Lane, right. Okay. All right,
So are all the new signs in?
I'm
Because
pretty sure the
it
ones.
was very slow. It was like.
Well, it was some of the, yeah, I noticed the ones coming up on 7, the other day, on 341, it came back, over there, the other day. It's on, the Kent School area, so yeah, coming across there, it's slowed down.
Yeah,
That's what people complain, oh, it's a little slow. I'm like, well, yeah, it needs to be. The kids are there all the time.
Yes.
We have reached out just for safety in general. The Motor Riot group there, they don't do their work on the sidewalks. They were doing that for a while in parking. They're not doing that. They're aware of their responsibility to do that because they were pushing people out into the street, especially on Saturday morning. I mean, it was the Saturday morning specifically the day that they're opening. Or they're open now, so but they had cars all over the sidewalk. I've talked to them and said, you can't really do that. Although the church groups at Park, they straddle the sidewalk. I mean, so it's fair, but it just can't work on the vehicles there. It's one thing that if you bring them out, if you're moving vehicles around, and they have a lot of vehicles there, understand that they might be intruding a little bit, but looking at the times the kids are off from school when they're, they don't have Saturday classes a lot of them anymore, so they're tend to be out and about. So, but and everybody's cooperating. But signs are out that I've seen. I don't know.
Okay, because it's weird in the northern, coming from the north.
Right, it's still.
It goes from 30 to 25. Is that the way it's supposed to be?
That's the way that, the state said they were gonna do it, right? Someone's got to check on it to make sure somebody had mentioned that. Yeah, right. Yeah, because they haven't taken that sign out. I thought they might take the sign out. Yeah. There were times where there were dual signs, so like right next to each other.
That was a little weird. It wasn't like replacing
No,
something. It's like adding.
They fixed that.
Okay.
It took out it kept the lower signs, at least on the 7 north I saw, coming into town, went right down to 25, so.
Just want 25. That was big.
Yeah, maybe you have to really slow down.
The one I'm still worried about is coming out of town going south.
Right.
Because that was like, people were just like speedway,
Well, that's what and if you notice that a couple times, that's where the extra trooper on Patrol 1 has been helping augmenting Andrew, who's like lives out in New Milford area. Vicky trained him, so he does it used to be that he kind of hung out more in the Warren, Lake Warrenmog, Washington area. Now they tend to be over here more.
Oh, nice.
So so that was actually when we made when Andrew left and Vicky came in. Andrew called me and said he's planning on being over here more. So I'm like, thank you. Yeah, it was great. And there were 2 times actually, or twice. Just a couple weeks ago, where there were 2 state troopers on Main Street at like 7:30 in the morning, and I went to work. You seen that? Yes, good. Yeah. And some of the workers, certain construction guy, they said, I have to watch for, I'll have some going around on Main Street now. Yeah. I want you to live right here, my brother-in-law. Anyway. I say that, but just But so and we're geared up in the summer. Oh yeah, okay. Go to selected report at this point, unless there's anything else. Yeah,
I've done mine.
heard
Done mine.
You want to?
Nothing else.
I'm sorry, mine got in so late.
I said to Jackson in the email, I said, well, from now on, the Park and Rec meeting is actually the week before, so that'll have no excuse to be late. And so a couple of things I wanted to highlight in Park and Rec is that I asked them, the commission, if we would want to offer childcare during the budget town meeting, and they said yes. And Matt is all for having childcare, like with the rec aides be able to provide it. So he's still working on the details of how that's going to come together. But I thought that was nice because that's something that I heard during my campaign that parents would really like to have that as an option, so it's nice to be able to follow through and make that happen. We do have a new subcommittee on bylaws. We're working on trying to make some changes that it will come back to you guys, because I think I think we're gonna ask for some changes to the ordinance. It originally started because Randy suggested that we should merge our constitution and bylaws together. So that'll be a nice clean up of documents, I hope. And then on Monday, we formed a new subcommittee, specifically on Emery Park. And the members, I've listed the members here: John Grant, Miranda, Melissa Schwininsky, Lynn Harrington, Lisa Wolak, who's a neighbor of the park.
Oh,
as well as
that's
that.
great.
Yeah. So that'll be good to get, and I just wanted to make sure, and I brought this up at the Board of Finance meeting, but, there is a process where the Park and Rec has to come to us first to ask about reallocating capital money. So I think that'll be the next thing that happens. But he's still waiting to hear from Gary Hawk about the actual property line. But it'd be nice to get some movement going there on Emery Park.
Yes.
There's a lot of movement on that. Let's climb that thing.
I know, he says he's out there every week.
He knows it.
I forgot to link, but he did, I'll try to go back in and add, but he did an amazing job with the survey of like analyzing the data we got. So I forgot to do that at the link, but I will.
He did Google, was that a Google?
He actually, it was a Google form, but he ended up like creating the report by, pulling the graphics from Google, and he had to add a lot more stuff to it.
He's talented at that. He really is.
Yes. And then the other thing I put in my thing was, I just thought the chamber nonprofits meeting was so a nice start, and I really think it's great that Darlene figured out how to embed it in the town website. It's really cool.
One-stop shopping, and for me, I like spend a lot of time on the website, but yeah, every now and then I actually come figure out what's going on outside of our meetings. Or see, look at the Lions Club, they having an event, I haven't been there in like months. I can't, I'll be there tomorrow. Okay, all right, mine, let's see, some of the stuff is kind of retread, like we're doing the HRA tomorrow. Screech Shape project is doing okay. We finally have our lawyers looking at the easements, and he needed maps again. If we're used to, I guess, computer generated maps, these guys like the old style, so we had to get some. But Joyce did a great job of dropping him off at Litchfield for him, so he's on the work there. Like Mike survey went out here, only a couple people from Kent were able to attend, they actually attended in person, and they thought there was some interesting stuff going on there. More to, I guess, come out of that. And the community engagement, yeah, we did same thing, the chamber social. Just the permits, I just thought I'd start adding that in. Same time, I guess, that Barbara did. And the Memorial Day Parade, just want to update, the Air Force has approved our request for an overflight. The 103rd Air Wing of the Connecticut Air National Guard will be doing the overflight, C-130. That email came in about 6 o'clock tonight.
Nice.
Or about 5:30, excuse me. So yeah, we do have and they'll be coming right down Newstown. They love it. This group, I know them. They love coming down. You'll see them sometimes, in different afternoons. I'll be coming back from Stewart Airfield over at West Point or doing something with the cadets or something, and they'll come right up the river, right across. They like that. So yeah, so we should expect a fairly, with a 130, which is a big aircraft, a pretty nice thing. So, and that's it. And just to finish off on mine, today is National Administrative Assistance Day, Support Day. So I want to recognize Joyce for all the work she did, and everybody else, all the clerks, really across the board, all our boards, people. Again, we mentioned the volunteers, but it's a great town and great support. I really appreciate you guys for everything you do as well. So I like it. I like what we're doing, I like where we're going. But yeah, we're always working hard to improve, but yeah, I really appreciate the experience Joyce has. See you now. And she will be out of the office for a couple of days, actually. Mother's coming to visit, so it's kind of nice I'll be in and out tomorrow, HRA in the morning, be in the afternoon, and then there's a function I have to go to for the Ridgefield visiting nurses, which is now the whole region's visiting nurses thing. They're having a function at 7 o'clock in Danbury on Sunday, Friday morning. So I'll go to that and see it. And then I'll be back all afternoon here. And next week here. Pretty much. So, there's meetings here and there, but
If I can say just one thing about the streetscape too,
Yeah.
I talked to my neighbors across the street quite a bit, and just to say that, as the process moves forward, the more dialogue, the best, because I think they still have some questions about where things will go and easements and all that kind of thing, so.
the attorney should be getting contact with them. They'll be recording questions or any comments and then talking about specific easements of all that stuff. There's a couple things about, cut throughs for sidewalk or for, parking lots and garage entrances and so on that aren't necessarily there. We're gonna try to accommodate right now any curb cut we can do so that it's there. But again, we encourage everybody who's talking. You might hear some neighbors talking.
Yeah.
Put something into P and Z into the building committees or building office as well, so they know, even if it's not complete, at least they know they're in the process of maybe requesting an update to a garage or another entryway off the road. This is the time to do it, because once later on, the cost of doing that will probably be borne by the individual if they want to change it to cut a concrete or to not necessarily cut concrete, which is expensive, but granite and fixed granite, that can always be.
Well, can we send a letter to all those?
We have actually, some that has gone out
Okay,
before, but we're waiting. There's only one really individual and they've been back and forth on whether they're gonna do it or not. So, but we have sent letters. And that was a question they had on Maple Street. Did they get letters? They did. I made sure the letters had gone out. This is in the last summer. And we'll have another meeting as we actually get closer to when the easements are signed and everything's ready to go and we're ready to open a bid. We'll have another information meeting for everybody. What does that mean? What's the time? And then I'll go to what we talked about with the Board of Finance of actually calendars on construction and so on. I'm trying to find, I know that just the improvement to Route 7 north of us from Carter Road on north. We did years ago, our road was down all the way through the town of Kent line to Warren or to Cornwall. But to redo it all and as you come off Carter Road and you go down where Brookwoods is, you go down to that little dip before the Kent Falls. That's been an issue when they were restructuring some of the roadway. There's flooding that's come across into Brookwoods, excuse me. So they agreed to move everything back and then redo that grade road and redo all the drains. So they haven't done the cut. They marked them. I went up the other day to check and they hadn't just marked them. Rick and I were talking. But we haven't heard that they're actually going to start cutting. So we're trying to get that so we can put that out in a note to everybody. Hey, just be aware, watch out, because you drive to the right, people driving on the corner, you get one of those raised grain drains, you can hurt your car. But then we'll have a better idea from DOT as well when they're going to do it. Now, quick anecdotal, then I'll get out of here because we've been here a while. But I did get a call from DOT in Hartford about what I wanted to do for the intersection of Route 7 and 4.
Route 7 and 4? Has the town border extended?
I thought maybe, we talked about taking over Gaylord, so I didn't want to go north. But the individual was an engineer, so it was not, but it was an engineer who just wanted to know how to engineer his corner. And I explained to her, I said, well, how I would do it is probably not how the first selectman of Cornwall would want to go. So you might want to call him, and she's like, I don't understand. But it's Kent Road. I mean, it's like Kent Cornwall Road, right? Well, yeah, but when it turns, it's no longer Kent Cornwall Road. It's Route 4. And she goes, yeah, is there near the store? And I'm like, no, is there a railroad crossing? She goes, no. I said, well, go back to where the railroad store. Yeah. She's like, oh my gosh. Oh, you're right. Oh, this is Kent. That's like 7 miles away. I'm like, yes, man. Yeah. Thank you for the engineer. But anyway, so, all right.
We do have a town meeting on Friday.
Yes, we do.
Are you gonna send out a note reminding people about it?
Yeah, we'll do that.
I noticed the Kent Affordable Housing didn't wait for you to do that.
It's nothing, it's not just, instead of I asked a couple people about being moderators and want to talk, so you guys not to, so Chris Garrity will be the moderator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, bullpen. But one of the other things we're gonna do is I know we need to get more people involved in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
moderators. We actually asked a couple of people today if they'd be interested in training. They ran away quickly. Don't know why, but we are gonna put out some more information on moderator training. and
No, that's a good idea.
so that, you know, part of it, get more people involved, so, yeah, we'll do that here in a little bit, make mention of that, so. But yeah, I'll put it out tomorrow. Yeah, I was out today, last minute, I had to run, move some stuff, so I can get back early, so, yeah, stuff, and I'll pull it out tonight before I leave. Get dinner, so. All right, anything else? All right, any orders I can get? There you go, all right? Motion to adjourn.
Public comment.
Oh, public comment, that's right. Any public that might still be here somewhere?
There's public, but nobody is in.
Is there anybody? Anybody in public? Is that Rick? It's a hearing.
Left some.
Hearing everybody run away. I'll make a motion. I'll move to adjourn. Okay. Second.
Second.
Thanks, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.